June sat alone in the observation dome of Outpost Station Hala 7, watching the stars. The night shift was always quiet, but tonight felt different. The vast emptiness of space seemed to press in on him more than usual. 3 years he had been stationed at this remote monitoring post, and not once had anything interesting happened, until now. The alert chime made him jump. A signal, faint but unmistakable, was coming from the direction of the Taurus cluster. June's fingers flew across the console, enhancing and isolating the transmission. "This is Ambassador Neela of the Galactic Alliance. We seek contact with the species known as humans. Our records indicate your presence in this sector. We request immediate assistance. Our colony is under attack. Please respond." June's heart raced. First contact. After centuries of space exploration, humanity had found no intelligent alien life. Many had given up hope. Some even believed humans were alone in the universe. Yet here it was. Proof they were not alone, and they needed help. Protocol demanded he alert command immediately. Junyo opened a secure channel to Earth Defense Headquarters. "General Sun, this is Outpost Hala 7. We've received a distress signal from aliens, sir." There was a long pause before the general's voice came through, tense and disbelieving. "Repeat that, Hala 7. "An alien civilization, sir. They call themselves the Galactic Alliance. They're asking for our help. They're under attack." Within hours, the outpost was buzzing with activity. Ships from the nearby patrol fleet arrived to secure the area. Scientists, diplomats, and military personnel flooded in from Earth. Among them was Commander Hana, Earth's top xenolinguist and first contact specialist. "Play it again," she ordered, pacing the small control room. June replayed the message. Hana listened intently, her brow furrowed in concentration. "The language patterns are similar to standard English, but with subtle differences in syntax. They've clearly been studying us for some time," she said. "But how?" "We've never detected them before," General Sun asked. "They're far more advanced than we are, General. They probably have ways of observing us that we can't even imagine." The ambassador's face appeared on screen again. She looked almost human, but her skin had a slight purple tinge, and her eyes were large and completely black. "Should we respond?" June asked. General Sun nodded grimly. "Yes, but carefully. We don't know who they are or what they really want." Hana stepped forward. "I'll handle this." She cleared her throat. "This is Commander Hana of Earth. We received your distress call. How can we help?" The response was immediate. The alien's face showed visible relief. "Commander Hana, thank you for responding. Our colony on Proxima Centauri is under attack by the Drax Collective. They are a hostile species that conquers and enslaves. We did not expect them to find us so quickly. We need military assistance. Our defenses are failing." General Sun whispered. "Proxima Centauri? That's our nearest stellar neighbor. An alien colony has been there all this time?" June asked in disbelief. "We need more information," the general said. "Ask about their attackers and why they're asking humans specifically for help." Hana nodded. "Ambassador Neela, we know nothing. About you or these Drax. Why come to us?" The ambassador's expression grew solemn. "The Drax fear your kind. Humans are classified as Deathworlders in our records. Beings evolved on a high-gravity planet with extreme environmental challenges. You are physically stronger than most species in the Alliance. The Drax avoid Earth space because of you. We hoped. Perhaps your reputation alone might help us." The control room fell silent. Humans, feared by the stars. It seemed almost laughable. "We need time to discuss this," Hana finally said. "There is little time left," Neela replied. "The colony will fall within days. Many species will die or be enslaved. Please, if humanity has any compassion, help us." The transmission ended. General Sun turned to his officers. "Verify everything. I want to know if there's actually a battle happening at Proxima Centauri." Hours later, the confirmation came through. Long-range sensors detected energy discharges consistent with weapons fire around Proxima Centauri b, the exoplanet orbiting humanity's closest stellar neighbor. "It's real," June whispered, staring at the data. "All of it." In the command center of Earth Defense Headquarters, the President of the United Earth Government addressed the Emergency Council. We've confirmed the distress call is genuine. An alien colony at Proxima Centauri is under attack. They've asked for our help because apparently we're scary. Nervous laughter rippled through the room. The question is, do we intervene in a war between alien species we know nothing about? Admiral Du, commander of Earth's space fleet, spoke up. Madame President, if these Dracs are as aggressive as the Alliance claims, they may come for us next. Better to meet them at Proxima than wait for them to reach Earth. I agree, said General Sun. This is also an opportunity to establish ourselves as a power in the galaxy and make an ally of this galactic alliance. The President nodded slowly. Very well. Prepare the fleet. She turned to Admiral Du. But remember, this is a rescue mission, not an invasion. I want minimal casualties on all sides if possible. Yes, Madam President. As the meeting adjourned, Commander Hana caught up with the Admiral. I'm coming with you, she said. You'll need someone who can communicate with them. Admiral Du nodded. Pack quickly. We leave in 12 hours. Back at Outpost Hala 7, June watched in awe as Earth's fleet assembled. 50 warships, including the massive dreadnought Victory, prepared for the jump to Proxima Centauri. It was UOP, the largest military operation in human history. They asked for help, June murmured to himself. They're getting an entire armada of Deathworlders. He couldn't help but smile at the thought. The human fleet emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the Proxima Centauri system. From the bridge of the dreadnought Victory, Admiral Du surveyed the scene before him. A massive battle was underway around a beautiful blue-green planet. Life. Signs? He asked. Multiple species detected on the planet, sir, the sensor officer reported. And in orbit, there's a battle in progress. 30 large vessels attacking a defensive line of 15 smaller ships. Commander Hana studied the tactical display. The smaller ships must be the Alliance forces. They're protecting the planet. They're losing, Admiral Du observed grimly. Several of the Alliance vessels were clearly damaged, venting atmosphere into space. As they watched, one exploded in a brilliant flash of light. Open a channel to Ambassador Neela, ordered the Admiral. Moments later, the alien's face appeared, on screen. She looked exhausted, with burns visible on one side of her face. Humans, she breathed, relief evident in her voice. You came. We're here to help, Admiral Du replied. I'm Admiral Du of the Earth Defense Force. We have 50 ships ready to assist. 50? Neela's eyes widened. We only expected perhaps 1 or 2 vessels. This is... She seemed at a loss for words. Where should we deploy? The Admiral asked, all business. Neela quickly recovered. The Drax fleet is attempting to breach our final defensive line. If they succeed, they'll land ground forces and begin capturing colonists. Their flagship is here. She transmitted tactical data to the Victory. Understood. We'll handle it from here. Please hold your position. Admiral Du turned to his fleet commanders. Battle formation Delta. Target the enemy flagship but engage all hostile vessels. Commander Hana, try to open communications with these Dracs. Let's see if we can end this without further bloodshed. The human fleet moved with precision, forming a perfect attack pattern as they advanced toward the Drax forces. On the enemy ships, confusion reigned. Captain Tak, unknown vessels approaching, a Drax officer reported, panic in his voice. Captain Tak of the Drax flagship Conqueror turned to the view screen. Impossible. There are no spacefaring species in this region except the weaklings we're crushing. Sir, sensors indicate humans. The word caused immediate silence on the bridge. Captain Tak's scales bristled with fear. Humans? Here? How many ships? 50, sir. Tak's inner eyelids fluttered rapidly, a sign of extreme stress among his species. Impossible. Earth is 20 systems away. Why would humans defend this colony? Before his officer could respond, a communication request came through. On the screen appeared Commander Hana. This is Commander Hana of Earth. You are engaging in hostile actions against an Alliance colony that has requested our protection. Cease your attack immediately and withdraw from this system, Captain Tak hissed. We do not recognize human authority here. This is Drax territory now. No, Hana replied, calmly. It isn't. The communication ended abruptly. Moments later, the human fleet opened fire. Unlike the Alliance ships which had been fighting defensively, the human vessels attacked with overwhelming force. Railguns fired hypervelocity projectiles that tore through Drax shields. Nuclear-tipped missiles detonated against hull plating. Laser arrays cut through vulnerable sections with surgical precision. On the bridge of the Victory, Admiral Du watched the battle unfold. They're not retreating, he noted with surprise. Pride, Commander, Hana suggested. From what little the Alliance told us, the Drax aren't used to facing serious resistance. The Admiral nodded. Target their engines. If they won't retreat willingly, we'll make sure they can't continue fighting. The order went out. Human gunners adjusted their aim, concentrating fire on the propulsion systems of the Drax vessels. One by one, the enemy ships lost mobility, left drifting and vulnerable. Finally, the Drax flagship itself came under concentrated fire from 3 human cruisers. Its shields failed catastrophically, and a barrage of missiles struck its main power. Core. Captain, a Drax officer shouted. Core destabilizing. We need to evacuate. Captain Tak stared in disbelief at the tactical display. Half his fleet disabled in less than an hour. The feared Deathworlders had lived up to their reputation. All ships, he commanded. Retreat immediately. Abandon disabled vessels. Full withdrawal from the system. The remaining Drax ships that could still maneuver turned and fled, accelerating toward the system's edge. Several disabled vessels launched escape pods as their crews abandoned ship. On the Victory, a cheer went up as the enemy fled. Hold fire, Admiral Doe ordered. Let them go, and prepare rescue teams for those escape pods. Commander Hana looked at him in surprise. We're rescuing them? After what they tried to do to the colony? We're not like them, the Admiral replied simply. We don't leave people to die in space, even enemies. The Alliance ships cautiously approached the human fleet. Ambassador Neela's face appeared on screen again, her expression one of awe and gratitude. Admiral, Commander, I lack words to express our thanks. You saved our colony. Admiral Du nodded. We're sending medical teams to assist with your wounded, and we'd like to formally meet with your leadership. Of course, Neela replied. Please, you and your officers are invited to the surface. Our Governor wishes to thank you personally. As shuttles from the Victory descended through the atmosphere of Proxima Centauri B, Commander Hana gazed out the viewport at the alien landscape below. The colony was built in a vast valley, surrounded by purple-leaved forests and strange spiral mountains. It was beautiful in an alien way. Nervous? Admiral Doe asked, noticing her intense focus. A little, she admitted. We're about to be the first humans to set foot on an alien world with intelligent life. It's overwhelming. The Admiral smiled. Remember, to them, we're the intimidating ones. Deathworlders, they called us. The shuttles landed in a large plaza in the center of the colony. As the doors opened, Admiral Doe, Commander Hana, and their delegation were greeted by a remarkable sight. Hundreds of aliens from at least a dozen different species stood in neat rows, all watching the humans with expressions ranging from curiosity to reverence. At the front stood Ambassador Neela alongside a tall serpentine, being with iridescent scales and 4 arms. Admiral Doe, Commander Hana, Neela said, bowing slightly. Welcome to New Harmony. May I present Governor Saul of the Galactic Alliance, the serpentine being bowed deeply. We owe you an immeasurable debt, humans of Earth. You came to the aid of strangers across the stars. This is a day that will be remembered in Alliance history forever. Admiral Doe stepped forward. We're pleased we could help, Governor. Earth hopes this will be the beginning of a lasting friendship between our peoples. As the formal greetings continued, Commander Hana noticed something strange. Many of the aliens were pointing at the humans and whispering to each other. Is something wrong? She asked Neela quietly. The ambassador looked embarrassed. Not wrong exactly. It's just, many of our people have never seen Deathworlders before. They're amazed by your physical strength. The gravity here is only 75% of Earth's. Yet you move as if it's nothing. And after watching how quickly you defeated the Dracs, they're afraid of us, Hana realized. No, Neela corrected gently. They're in awe of you. The Dracs have terrorized the outer colonies for decades. No one has ever defeated them so decisively. In one day you've done what the Alliance military couldn't do in years. As the human delegation was led into the colony's central hall for a formal reception, Admiral Doe pulled Commander Hana aside. "Keep your eyes open," he murmured. "Something doesn't feel right. Why were they so certain we would help them? And why were the Dracs so surprised to see us here?" Hana nodded. "I've been wondering the same thing. I'll see what I can learn." The grand hall was filled with representatives from all the colony species. Food and drink were offered, carefully selected to be compatible with human biology. Music played strange but not unpleasant to human ears. As Commander Hana circulated through the crowd, she found herself approached by a small, avian-like alien with brilliant blue feathers. "You are the translator, yes?" the alien asked in perfect English. "I am Tay, Chief Archivist of New Harmony." "Commander Hana, pleased to meet you, Tay." The archivist tilted his head curiously. "May I ask how much Ambassador Neela told you about the Drax conflict?" "Very little," Hana admitted. "Only that they attack and enslave. Why do you ask?" Tay's feathers ruffled slightly. "Because historically the Drax avoid human space entirely. They're terrified of Deathworlders. For them to attack a colony so close to Earth, it's very strange." "Unless they didn't know we were watching," Hana mused. "Precisely," Tay agreed. "Which raises the question, why didn't they know?" The morning after the victory celebration, Commander Hana found herself in the colony's central archives with Tai. The avian archivist had offered to show her the colony's historical records, and she had eagerly accepted. Any opportunity to learn more about the Alliance and their relationship with humans was valuable. "This is remarkable," Hana said, looking at the holographic display showing the known galaxy. "Your people have mapped so much more than we have." Tay made a soft trilling sound that Hana had learned was laughter. "We've had interstellar travel for over 3,000 years. Humans have had it for less than 2 centuries. Hana zoomed in. "On Earth sector. And yet you've kept your distance from us. Why?" Tay's feathers flattened slightly. Embarrassment, Hana guessed. "As I mentioned, Deathworlders are concerning to most Alliance species. Your physical capabilities alone make you potentially dangerous, but it's more than that." "What do you mean?" The archivist pulled up another display showing comparative planetary data. "You evolved on a world with high gravity, extreme temperature variations, intense radiation, and countless lethal predators. Most Alliance species come from much more hospitable worlds. Our bodies are adapted for comfort, yours for survival." Hana considered this. "So we're essentially space orcs to you." "I don't understand that reference," Tay admitted. "Never mind, please continue." Tay brought up historical records. "The Alliance has encountered Deathworlders before. The results were mixed. Some became valued allies, others conquered everything they could reach. The Council decided it was prudent to observe humanity from a distance before making contact. Until you needed our help," Hana noted. "Yes." Tay seemed uncomfortable now. "About that, there's something you should see." He accessed a secured section of the archives and pulled up a series of diplomatic communications between New Harmony and the Alliance Council. "These are from 3 months ago," he explained, "before the Drax attacks began." Hana read through the messages, her expression growing darker with each one. The communications detailed a deliberate plan to draw humans into a conflict with the Drax. New Harmony had been established specifically as bait, close enough to Earth to make human intervention plausible. "You used us," she said quietly. "This colony was never in danger of being destroyed. You just wanted us to show force against the Drax." Tay's eyes blinked rapidly. "Not me personally, but yes." The Council planned this. The Dracs have been expanding aggressively. The Alliance needed to stop them without committing our own military resources. So you manipulated us into fighting your war. Hana's voice was cold now. Tell me, were there even colonists in danger, or was that part of the deception too? The colony is real, Tay insisted. The people here are civilians, but the attack, it was controlled. The Dracs were paid to make it look worse than it was. Hana stood abruptly. I need to tell Admiral Du about this immediately. Before she could leave, the archive door slid open. Governor Saul entered, his serpentine body moving with surprising grace despite his size. That won't be necessary, Commander, he said smoothly. The Admiral is already being briefed on the situation. Hana's hand moved subtly toward her sidearm. And what situation is that exactly? The Governor's multiple arms spread in a gesture of openness. An opportunity for mutual benefit. The Dracs now believe humans will defend Alliance space. They'll retreat to their own territory, and the Alliance will officially welcome humanity as an equal partner in galactic politics. After you lied to us, Hana challenged. Not lied, Sayal corrected. We presented the facts in a way that would motivate action. The threat is real, Commander. The Dracs are a menace. We simply accelerated the timeline of your involvement. Before Hana could respond, her communicator buzzed. It was Admiral Doe. Commander, report to the landing pad immediately. We're leaving. Sir? What's happening? The Alliance has been playing us. This whole thing was a setup. Get back to the ship. Now. Hana looked at Governor Saal, whose expression remained unreadable. On my way, Admiral. As she moved toward the door, the Governor spoke again. Commander, please understand. We needed to know if humans could be relied upon as allies. Now we know. Know what? She asked, pausing at the threshold. That you're exactly as formidable as we hoped, and far more honorable than we feared. Et Q? The landing pad, Admiral Doe was waiting with a contingent of Marines. His expression was thunderous. The Alliance Council representative just admitted everything, he said as Hana approached. They orchestrated this entire scenario to test our capabilities and scare the Dracs back to their territory. I know, Hana replied. The colony archivist showed me the records. The Admiral's jaw tightened. We're returning to the fleet immediately. President Song needs to be briefed on this development. As they boarded the shuttle, Hana looked back at the colonial city. It was beautiful and alien. A place humans might have enjoyed visiting under different circumstances. What are we going to do? She asked. That's not for me to decide, Admiral Du replied. But I doubt Earth will be pleased about being manipulated into a show of force. Back aboard the Victory, the Admiral called an emergency meeting of his command staff. Commander Hana presented what she had learned from the archives while the Admiral shared the Alliance Council's admission. They used us as a weapon to frighten their enemies, Captain Jin of the cruiser Indomitable said angrily. We should demand reparations. We should establish a military base in this system, suggested Colonel Song of the Marine Detachment. If they want human protection, they should pay for it properly. Admiral Du listened to all suggestions before speaking. We need to remember that despite their deception, the Alliance did introduce us to galactic society. That alone is valuable. But we cannot allow them to think they can manipulate Earth this way. He turned to the communications officer. Open a channel to Earth Defense Headquarters. Priority 1. The meeting with President Song and the Earth Security Council was tense. After hearing the full report, the President's expression was grim. So to summarize, she said, an advanced alien coalition faked a crisis to trick us into demonstrating our military capabilities, which they now plan to use as a deterrent against their enemies. That's correct, Madame President. Admiral Du. Confirmed. And these Dracs, were they in on this deception as well? Commander Hana shook her head. No, Madame President. From what we've learned, the Dracs were hired to stage an attack but weren't told humans would respond. The Alliance wanted their genuine reaction to human military power. President Song was silent for a long moment. Admiral, what's your assessment of Alliance technology compared to ours? Mixed, he replied. Their FTL drives and communication systems are superior, Their weapons technology is less advanced than ours. They seem to have focused more on peaceful expansion than military development, which is why they needed us to frighten the Dracs. The president concluded. What do you recommend? Admiral Dew straightened. We should negotiate from a position of strength. The Alliance clearly values our military capabilities. We should leverage that for technological exchange, particularly their FTL technology. President Song nodded. And if they refuse? Then we return home and seal our borders. They came to us, Madame President. They need us more than we need them. The president considered this. Implement your plan, Admiral, but remember, we want allies, not subjects. Make it clear that future cooperation requires honesty. Yes, Madame President. The communication ended and Admiral Doe turned to his officers. Prepare for negotiations. Commander Hana, you'll lead the diplomatic team. Hana looked surprised. Sir? You've spent the most time with them. You understand their psychology better than anyone else. Here. But I'm not a diplomat, she protested. You are now, the Admiral said firmly. Besides, they respect strength. Having the person who uncovered their deception lead the negotiations sends a message. The next day, Commander Hana sat across from Governor Sal and Ambassador Neela in the colony's council chamber. The atmosphere was tense. Earth is disappointed by the Alliance's deception, Hana began. We came to help what we thought were innocent people in danger. Governor Sal's scales shifted color slightly. We regret the necessity of our methods, Commander, but the results benefit everyone. The Dracs have withdrawn from 3 contested systems already, simply due to rumors of human involvement. That doesn't justify lying to us, Hana countered. If you wanted an alliance, you should have approached us honestly. Ambassador Neela leaned forward. Would you have committed your fleet to fight an enemy you'd never heard of, to protect people you didn't know existed, without the urgency of an immediate crisis? Hana had no answer for that. The ambassador was right. Earth would have been cautious, diplomatic. The response would have taken months, possibly years. Nevertheless, Hana continued, Earth is willing to discuss a formal relationship with the Alliance under certain conditions. What conditions? Asked the governor. First, complete technological exchange, beginning with your FTL drive systems. Second, recognition of Earth space as sovereign territory, with mutually agreed borders. Third, a formal apology for the deception, to be delivered to the President of Earth directly. Governor Sal's eyes narrowed. You demand much for newcomers to galactic politics. 3 months after the confrontation at Proxima Centauri, Earth had changed profoundly. Knowledge of alien life had transformed human society almost overnight. Religious institutions struggled to incorporate the existence of extraterrestrial intelligence into their worldviews. Scientists pored over the technological information shared by the Alliance. Military strategists reassessed Earth's position in a suddenly much larger universe. At the newly established Galactic Embassy in Seoul, Commander Hana, now Ambassador Hana, was preparing for an important meeting. The first official alliance delegation was arriving to formalize the treaty negotiated after the Drax incident. Nervous? Asked June, who had been reassigned from Outpost Hala 7 to serve as her aide. His discovery of the original distress signal had made him something of a celebrity on Earth. A little, Hana admitted, adjusting her formal uniform. This is the first time Alliance representatives are coming to Earth. We need to make a good impression. After what our fleet did to the Drax, I think they're more worried about impressing us, June replied with a smile. Before Hana could respond, an aide rushed in. Ambassador, we've received an emergency communication from the Alliance. Vessel, they're being pursued by Drax warships. Hana's blood ran cold. How many? 5 ships, ma'am. Much larger than the ones we encountered at Proxima Centauri. Alert Earth Defense, get Admiral Dew on the line immediately. Within minutes, the situation had escalated to a full crisis. The Alliance diplomatic vessel was fleeing toward Earth with 5 Drax warships in pursuit. Earth's defense fleet was scrambling to intercept. What are they thinking? Admiral Doe demanded when Hana reached him. Attacking a diplomatic mission in Earth space is an act of war. Maybe that's what they want, Hana suggested. Remember, the Dracs we fought before were essentially hired mercenaries. These could be their actual military forces coming to avenge their humiliation. Well, they're about to be humiliated again, the Admiral growled. Our fleet is moving to intercept. The confrontation occurred just beyond the orbit of Mars. The Alliance diplomatic vessel, sleek and unarmed, raced toward the protection of Earth's fleet with the Dracs warships close behind. From the command center in Seoul, Hana and June watched the tactical display with growing concern. The Drax ships were significantly larger than the ones they had faced before. Opening communication with the lead Drax vessel, the communications officer announced. A familiar face appeared on screen, Captain Tak, the same Drax commander they had defeated at Proxima Centauri. His scales were darker now, marked with ceremonial patterns that Hana didn't recognize. Humans, he hissed. You interfere in galactic politics you do not understand. The Alliance vessel you protect carries traitors to both our peoples. Admiral Doe's face remained impassive. You are, in Earth space without permission, pursuing a diplomatic vessel. Withdraw immediately. You are being used, Tak insisted. The Alliance, the communication cut off abruptly. On the tactical display, the 5 Drax ships suddenly accelerated, not toward Earth's fleet, but in a flanking maneuver around it. What are they doing? June wondered. His question was answered moments later when 10 more ships dropped out of FTL directly behind Earth's defensive line. It's a trap, Admiral Doe shouted. All ships, defensive formation. The battle that followed was unlike anything humanity had experienced. These Drax vessels were true warships, not the lighter craft they had faced before. They attacked with coordinated precision, focusing fire on key targets in the human fleet. We're outmatched, June said quietly as they watched 3 human cruisers take critical damage. No, Hana insisted. We're just surprised. Admiral Doe will adapt. True to her words, the Admiral quickly reorganized his forces. The human vessels broke into smaller, more agile groups using Mars as cover to launch counterattacks from unexpected vectors. The diplomatic vessel has reached Earth orbit, the tactical officer reported. Should we bring them down? Hana hesitated. Something isn't right. Captain Tak said they were carrying traitors. We should secure the vessel, but delay landing until we understand what's happening. As the battle raged in the outer system, a security team boarded the Alliance diplomatic ship. What they found shocked everyone. Ambassador, the security chief, reported. The Alliance delegation includes Drax representatives. They claim to be rebels against the main collective. Rebels? Hana repeated, stunned. Put them through. The face that appeared on screen was Drax, but unlike Captain Tak, this individual's scales were pale and unmarked. He appeared elderly by Drax standards. Ambassador Hana, the Drax said, his voice softer than Tak's harsh tones. I am Elder Ryu, of the Drax Reformation Movement. We seek asylum and alliance with Earth. Why should we trust you? Hana demanded. Because, Ryu replied, I can give you the truth about the Alliance and the Collective. A truth neither wants you to know. Hana looked at June, who nodded slightly. I'm listening, she said. The Alliance and the Collective have been at war for centuries, Elder Ryu explained. A cold war, fought through proxies and skirmishes rather than full fleets. Both sides have been searching for an advantage. When humans were discovered, both recognized your potential. As weapons, Hana said bitterly. As game changers, Ryu corrected. Your species evolved differently than most. You're physically capable, technologically creative, and most importantly, you think differently. You solve problems in ways neither the Alliance nor the Collective would consider. And that's why you're here? June asked. To recruit us for your rebellion? Ryu's scales shifted color slightly, the Drax equivalent of a smile. In a sense. My faction believes the endless conflict between our peoples must end. We saw how you treated the defeated Drax forces at Proxima Centauri, rescuing escape pods even from enemy vessels. Such mercy is... The final hours before Aegis started, changed the Sol system into a center of busy activity. Ships from every major species had arrived, not to threaten Earth, but to help and watch. A temporary command center had been set up on Mars colony far enough from the Aegis ring to be safe from any immediate energy problems, yet close enough to watch the operation. Tay stood beside Director Seo at the main console watching. As final calculations were processed, the room was filled with the galaxy's greatest scientific minds working with human engineers in a teamwork never seen before in Council history. "The void has speeded up again," reported Jun, who had been chosen as the link between Council scientists and the human team. "New prediction puts it at the edge of the Zendi system in 29 hours. Not the 6 months we first calculated." Director Seo's face stayed calm, but Tay could see the tension in her shoulders. "It's responding to the increased communications in this area, despite our care. The emergency council meetings and fleet movements have created quantum noise, so it knows we are aware of it." Tay concluded grimly. "Possibly, or it's simply drawn to the concentration of technology activity. Either way, we've run out of time for improvements." She turned to speak to the assembled team. "Aegis will start in 30 minutes. All non-essential personnel should board their transports now." As the room began to clear, leaving only the core technical team, Sang approached Tay with a small device, a personal shield generator modified to the same frequency as Aegis just in case. Tay accepted it with thanks. "What are our real chances?" "Old friend, not the official numbers, but your honest view." Sang's eyes crinkled with a tired smile. "Honestly, it's the most beautiful theory I've ever seen, built in the most rushed and desperate way imaginable. It might work perfectly. It might tear a hole in space-time, most likely something in between." A communication officer called out incoming transmission from the Galactic Council. The main screen activated to show High Counselor June speaking from the safety of the Council. "Homeworld Director Seo, the Council has unanimously voted to extend an honor rarely given, regardless of the outcome today. Humanity is formally recognized as a guardian species of the Galactic Accord, with all rights and responsibilities of that position." Guardian species? It was the highest rank in Council hierarchy, previously held by only the 5 founding races it acknowledged. Humanity's willingness to risk everything to protect everyone. Director Seo bowed slightly. "We accept this honor, High Counselor, and hope to live long enough to use those responsibilities." As the transmission ended, she turned back to her team. Final checks on the Jupiter array. The massive energy collection systems orbiting Jupiter had been gathering power for weeks, storing it in quantum batteries that broke normal physical limitations. A human innovation they had kept secret until now. Arrays at full capacity confirmed. G from his station field generators aligned and synchronized. Director Seo moved to the activation console, her hands hovering over the biological controls. "This is Director Yoon, starting Aegis Protocol Authentication Code, Gamma 7 Echo 9 Delta." The computer processed her authorization identity confirmed, waiting for secondary authentication, to everyone's surprise. Director Seo looked directly at Tay. "As representative of the Galactic Council and the species we aim to protect, the honor of secondary authentication belongs to you." Tay stepped forward, understanding the deep meaning of the gesture. This wasn't just a human project anymore. It was a stand for all living things. "This is Envoy Tay of the Galactic Council confirming authorization for Aegis Protocol activation. Authentication code to follow." He placed his hand on the scanner. "Alpha 1 Omega 3. Zeta secondary authentication confirmed. The system announced Aegis Protocol starting in 10 minutes. All personnel secure for gravity changes." As the countdown continued, the various monitors showed the void's approach. It had already eaten the outermost planets of the Zendi system, leaving nothing but empty space where they had been. "It's bigger than our models predicted," G observed quietly, "and moving with purpose now, almost as if it knows we're trying to stop it." Hyun finished. Director Seo's voice remained steady as she guided her team through final adjustments, compensating for increased mass, recalibrating field projection angles. "Keep the focus tight. We need maximum effect at first contact." The minutes ticked down with painful slowness throughout the Sol system. Ships had positioned themselves in the safety zone behind Earth's solar plane, as far from the projected Aegis field as possible. While still being able to observe 60 seconds, the system announced, Director SEO opened a system-wide channel. This is Director SEO to all personnel and allied vessels secure for possible space-time distortion. If Aegis fails, proceed immediately to emergency jump points. There will be no second attempt. He found himself holding his breath as the final countdown began. 30 seconds, 20 seconds, 10. At 0, the massive energy stored in the Jupiter arrays surged through the Aegis ring. A wave of brilliant blue light exploded outward, expanding at impossible speed. It was beautiful and terrifying at once. The command center shook violently as reality itself seemed to bend around. Them status Tay shouted above the roar of straining equipment. Field expansion nominal. Director CO called back, her eyes fixed on the readings. First phase complete. Energy shell integrity at 94%. On the main screen, they could see the Aegis field, expanding, a shimmering barrier of blue-white energy stretching outward from Sol system toward the approaching void contact in 5 minutes. G reported, his voice tight with tension. The minutes stretched like hours as they waited. Then suddenly the monitors flashed red warnings. Contact made. Director CO announced field integrity, dropping 85%, 70% compensating. The field was visibly struggling where it met the void, the beautiful blue light being consumed by the absolute darkness. Not working, called out one of the human scientists. Field collapse imminent. Then Director CO made a decision that would change the course of history. Amplify the harmonic frequency, she ordered. Activate secondary resonators. But that wasn't in the plans, called Jun, looking confused. The simulations showed. No time for simulations, snapped. Director CO, humanity has spent centuries studying the quantum nature of light and darkness. We've prepared contingencies. Do it now. Tay saw a determined look pass between the human scientists as commands were entered. New systems came online, drawing even more power from the Jupiter arrays. The nature of the field changed before their eyes. The blue-white energy darkening to deep violet, then shifting through colors Tay had no names for. The void is slowing, reported G, disbelief in his voice field. Integrity stabilizing at 42%. More powerful readings came from the monitoring stations as the changed Aegis field met the void instead of being consumed. The field now seemed to be pushing back, creating a boundary between existence and nothingness. Then something impossible happened. The void began to retreat. It's working, gasped Jun, staring at the readings. But not according to any model we calculated. That's because Director CO said, her voice tight with concentration. We've stopped trying to hide from it and started pushing back light against darkness, existence against nothingness. For 15 tense minutes, the struggle continued. Monitoring stations across the galaxy reported the void's retreat, accelerating away from the Sol system, moving back toward the galactic core. Then suddenly, field connection lost. Void signature no longer detected. G reported, his voice shaking with emotion. Did we destroy it? Hyun asked. No. Director CO shook her head. We pushed it back, showed it that this sector of space would fight back in ways it didn't expect. On screen after screen, reports flooded in from across the galaxy. The void had disappeared, retreating to whatever dark space existed beyond normal reality. That's when Tay understood the true brilliance of humanity's plan. They hadn't just built a shield. They had created a weapon that used the void's own nature against it. You never planned to just hide, did you? Tay asked Director CO. You were testing its response, learning its weaknesses all along. Director CO gave a tired smile. Humans don't hide for long. Tay, we observe, we learn, we adapt, and then we fight back. We went silent, not from fear, but for focus. Communications are coming back online from across the Sol system, announced Day as if a switch had been flipped. All the human colonies were sending messages again, space traffic resuming normal patterns. Tay saw it now. The silence hadn't been from terror, it had been strategic. Humanity had gone quiet to work without distraction to save themselves and the galaxy. How long will this protection last? Asked Hyun, eyeing the readouts. We don't know, honestly, replied Director Seo, but we've learned so much we can build better versions of Aegis throughout the galaxy. Create a network of protection and warning systems. The void may return, but next time, well, be ready. The exhausted teams began to celebrate as the news spread throughout the system. Ships from 100 worlds sending congratulations and relief. Earth had saved them all as Tay watched humans embracing each other and their alien allies. He thought about the fear that had gripped the council when humanity went silent, how they had assumed the worst about the strange young species. Now he understood a deeper truth about humans. They could be loud and chaotic and unpredictable, but when true darkness threatened, they stood firm. They fought not just for themselves but for all life. Perhaps the council had been right to tremble when humanity went silent, but not from fear of humans themselves, rather from the terrible threat that human